Hi everyone. Today we are here to look at easy ways in which you can learn a skill. As you are aware, future belongs to those who are skilled. I hope you have heard about this. Yes, it is not just enough if you have a degree or a diploma in your hand. This certificate might help you in gaining a lot of knowledge about a particular field, a discipline, or multiple disciplines. But what you need when you are looking for a job or when you want to become an entrepreneur is the skills. Yes, skills are most essential, and that is what makes you employable as well. So for employability or for any reason where you need to find a job, people ask you, how skilled are you? So this is a question which is very important and we need to look at it right away. If you thought that learning a skill is a very tough task, then it can be made easy and simple by breaking it up into many steps. So here we go with 5 steps in making it a simple and easy process for you to learn a skill, whether you are doing it formally by enrolling in a program or whether you want to do it on your own in a self-learning mode. So let's go ahead and look at these 5 steps. Whether you have enrolled for a short-term skill-based training program, or you could be doing a long-term course, or you could be watching a video to learn a skill or sitting next to a person who's teaching you a skill, these 5 easy steps could help you learn a skill effectively and successfully. Now let's remember that skills involve application of knowledge to perform a task. And this is the reason why we say that most of our college courses are heavily knowledge based and we don't get opportunities to practice skills. In fact, the curriculum is not designed to help us learn skills, and that's the reason we enroll for different skill-based courses to make ourselves employable and for various other reasons. So now let's look at these 5 easy steps. Most of us think that learning a skill is a difficult task. It takes a lot of time and then it demands a lot of attention and discipline and so on. Yes, all these are true because a skill is something practical. It is not something that can be read from a book or just remembered, memorized and so on. We need to practice it. But if you follow these 5 steps, perhaps your journey could become easy and you might even enjoy the journey by taking up the challenges. So what are these 5 easy steps? First and most important is we need to have an objective or a goal why we are learning a particular skill. Is it for something in the short duration or something which has an immediate relevance or reason or some meaning? Or is it for something that is needed in the long run? We need to be clear. Or is it just for enjoying, like it's for a hobby that you're doing, something new, creative, and hence this skill is going to help you? Or it could be for various other reasons like getting a job which you really like. It could be an entry-level job or it could be a managerial job and so on. So a skill plays a very important role in all these activities. So clarity is needed. Then how we need to break it up into sub-skills and learn the sub-skills, and then most importantly, practice, practice and practice. There is no substitute for practice. Finally, we need to review and test the progress, and that's how these 5 steps are climbed one by one, and there you reach your goals. Let's look at step 1 in detail. That's about being clear about the objective. Like I just said, why are we learning a particular skill? Is it because, let's say for example, there is a hobby or there are few hobbies that I would like to develop, so I enroll for a skilling program, and then this is just for enjoying. I like to bake, so I learn baking skills. I like to arrange flowers, so I learn flower arrangement skills and so on and so forth. It could be true of photography and many other things. This is not directly related to your job or employment. But there is also the serious aspect of learning a skill which has an impact on your job, on your career. So how do we do that? And that's where it is very important to be very systematic and have an objective. Is it for a short term goal, or is it something that you're going to use in future? So the way you decide on your priorities and objectives makes you come up with a plan which is achievable, which is measurable, and you know where you stand in terms of that plan. So have your objectives very clear. Let's say, for example, you want to enroll for digital marketing course and it has various skills in it. So if you're looking for a job in digital marketing, let's say 3 months down the line, and you do a course today which is teaching you various digital marketing skills, it makes a lot of sense. But if you are enrolling for something which you might do much later and then you feel that it's going to help you later, that may not be very effective, because skills are dynamic, they keep changing. So it depends on what your goals are. And also we need to be clear about the expected outcomes. Like I just said, you might be applying for a job, so that can be the outcome. You should get a relevant job or a placement, or it could be any other outcome that you wish to have for your plan to enroll for a skilling course, or watch it and learn it, or interact with people and learn, whichever way you learn. Remember, you have to have an objective, a goal, and something like a target which you have to achieve. Next step is to break that skill into sub skills. Any skill, first time when you look at it, it looks like a humongous task. Oh my God, it's so difficult. How am I going to do this? So these questions are difficult to answer initially, but the moment you break them into sub skills, it really helps. So how does subskilling help you? It helps you in simplifying the task. A big task can be broken into smaller ones. Then it also helps you in setting a priority, which comes first, which comes second, and so on and so forth. It also helps you in reviewing the progress. Otherwise, how will you know that you have learned a particular skill? And finally, also you get to test it. So there has to be a modularization or breaking of a skill into sub skills. How do we learn the sub skills? Let's look at an example here. I'm giving you an example from, let's say, a course in web designing which has multiple skills in it. When you say you are joining a skill-based course in web designing, the assumption is that you are actually learning web designing through hands-on. It doesn't mean that you're reading about web designing by going to few books or reading some material online. No, it should be a very practice oriented course where you are practicing various sub skills. So the sub skills here could be, how do you really develop a website, let's say. Okay, it involves multiple skills. The first sub skill could be understanding how to gather user requirements, what are the questionnaires you should use, what are the interviews you should conduct, and then creating a wireframe, a design wireframe, choosing a theme, and developing the web pages by using a certain code or template or any of the open source tools, and so on and so forth. So we need to take up one skill at a time, one sub skill at a time, and that's how it works. You cannot be doing website development or become a web designer in just one shot. It doesn't happen, as we are aware. There are multiple sub skills which are attached to multiple topics that come under this area, and you should insist that if you are enrolling for a course outside, you should insist that all this practical knowledge is acquired during that time frame. The next step is to practice. Whether you are enrolling for a course outside or you are doing it on your own, no matter whichever route you take to skill yourself, it is practice which is most essential. There is absolutely no substitute for practice. Remember, these pictures are talking about so many things. The first example is about coding. Suppose you are learning to code. Can you become a master programmer without actually coding hands-on? By reading books? No. By watching somebody else code? No, definitely not. but only by coding it yourself, writing that program yourself and making mistakes and then correcting them yourself. This is the only way to learn coding. Lot of practical exercises are needed to try out and then learn. Suppose you are learning yoga, a skill, okay? Here again, just look at the way people become, experts in yoga, or they start practicing, learning, mastering, and so on. Every day, systematic practice with lot of discipline is what helps you learn a skill like yoga. Or let's say you're a machinist and you're doing something with machines where a lot of hands-on work is needed. Will you be able to learn just by watching a video? Perhaps to a certain extent you can understand few things, but ultimately you need to practice it first, maybe in a simulated environment, and then on the actual machine. Only then these skills get internalized and your brain understands that these practical things stay with you, and then they help you when you are actually performing the task on the job. Now the fifth step is about reviewing and testing your progress. Like in any activity, it is very important to review our progress by going back and looking at how we started, how we have progressed, what are the things we completed. So it's like a self-test. But here at this stage, I would advise that you take help of experts. For example, your instructors and other people who are helping you. You might have a mentor, you might have a guide who's helping you in learning, or your friends who might help you in giving you some feedback. So these things are very important to review our progress and to see that we have done few things. Have we done them right? Are we getting the desired results? Or if we are not able to, why are we failing in few things? So this way you can start all over again and identify your weak points, and then see why is it that few things are not working when you're learning a skill. Why are you making certain mistakes? This is the only way where you can practically do these things and then gain mastery over a time. So let's remember again, skill development is something that's practical, that's hands-on. It requires both your manual skills and your mental skills. By this I mean you might be doing some things with your hand, but your brain is also continuously occupied in helping you learn these things. So when you follow these 5 easy steps, I hope your journey to skilling becomes very enjoyable and you get to learn a lot, and then you feel that yes, skills have really given you that value and you feel more empowered, and you might find yourself in a better position to apply for jobs that you want to, or do whatever you want to by learning those skills. Remember, it is most essential in any skill development activity for you to apply the skill, practice it in a real environment. Only then you will be able to learn and master it. And also remember, skilling is not something which is static. It will not always remain the same. A skill which you learn today may get outdated in a while, and then you will have to reskill yourself or update the skill and learn the new way in which it is performed. So when you have to apply knowledge in a particular context, then it becomes a skill, as you have seen now. And there are ways in which you can learn, master and teach others. So what are you waiting for? Start learning on your own or enroll in a program and follow these steps. And do let us know if you found them useful. Write into us at contact@nationalskillsnetwork.com, or you follow us on social media, share your comments, or on this YouTube video itself, share your comment. It would be nice to hear from you and we can start a discussion around how you found our videos. Subscribe to our channel and then follow us so that you get updated whenever we have a new video. I wish to talk to you soon. Thank you so much. This is Madhuri from National Skills Network saying goodbye.